Hello, everybody. Hello, Edin. Welcome. Thank you for being on the Let's Talk Footy podcast. I remember a couple times you were joking and saying you would never be on the show, but here you are. I made you come, so welcome. I appreciate it. Before we get started, though, I just wanna just say that we were kind of away for a little bit because of the coronavirus that's going around the world. But hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody is staying healthy, safe. You as well, Edin. Hope everything is good with your family. And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction, and thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be, jokes on the side, but it's a pleasure to be a part of the podcast.
Pleasure is mine. Pleasure is mine. I just want you to tell me a little bit about yourself or the listeners and who you are, where you come from. Obviously, we both coach at the same club. To be honest, you're my boss, so here we are.
So no tough questions.
Yeah, so I don't want to get myself in trouble, but yeah, we both coach at the same club. So if you want to tell us where you come from, what made you end up at the club, what made you end up in Canada, just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously I'm coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Who doesn't know where's Bosnia? It's a part of ex-Yugoslavia, a big country in the Eastern Europe. And I came to Canada 3 years ago. As 2015, I was playing one season in the CSL as a player. And then I went back home and started playing there again. And then I got the opportunity and chance to come here to coach. I was offered a little bit of some kind of contract and agreement to start the academy for one club. And me and my wife, we are already feeling something that kind of that we want to go on somewhere and try different things, try to live in a different country. And both of us would like adventure, so we said, okay, let's take this opportunity and go and see how it's going to go. And when I showed up here, none of it was true with that academy, so I had to start looking for a job. And I applied for a couple of different clubs, I think 4 or 5 clubs, and they called me for an interviews, all 5 clubs. And the first interview that I went is High Park, and that's where I stayed. At that time, technical director was Chris Everly, and there was also our current general manager, Jason Massey, on that interview. And I was very nervous because my English was very, very bad. I only knew to say monkey, cat, dog, just a couple of words. So literally I wrote a little bit of things. I write down what I want to say, what I wanted to say to them, and but I was pretty confident. I wanted to get the job. I wanted to start coaching here, and that was one of the ideas to come to Canada, specifically to learn the language, because that was one part of one important part of this job. And yeah, I just grabbed the chance.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So when you came to Canada, you didn't speak the language, and you basically didn't have a job yet.
Yes. So I had a friend who helped me out a little bit. First couple of months I was at his apartment, and we literally came, my wife and me, we came with around $500. And
Wow.
But both of us, like I said, we like to take a risk, and at the end, man. Now it's look good. It's looking good.
Yeah, it's worked out. Good for you guys, man. That's very
thank you
motivating.
Yeah, and in terms of the language, I'm still learning the language. And
you're doing good though, man.
You can tell really the accent is the real Eastern European, but
almost everybody in Canada has an accent. Yeah, it's a multicultural country, right? Everybody here has an accent. Yeah,
that's true. I was really surprised when I just came how the people, they are so kind and understandable in terms of the language, which is very good.
Yeah, for sure. When you came to Canada, you mentioned you took the coaching opportunity and then it didn't work out initially. Did you already have your coaching credentials and qualifications, or did you have to go back and get your
No, so basically while I was I was a soccer player. That was my job. I made the living out of it, if you want to say it that way. And
So you play professionally.
I played professional. The first level of Bosnia, Bosnian league was the highest level, and I had a one cap for under 21 for the national team of Bosnia. And yeah, so while I was playing soccer, I was still thinking. I was always thinking about the coaching career, and that's something that I really wanted to do. And even as a player, I was always asking tough questions my coaches, right, regarding the tactics and everything. So I went to the course for an UEFA B, and I passed the exam while I was still playing soccer. So basically, I came to Canada with the UEFA B license, and yep, I had a little bit of experience back home as well, but that was mostly with the younger kids, and as a part of it's a role like an assistant coach to the first team manager, right? As a player.
Yeah. You brought up some good points. Obviously, I've never played anything close to your level, but I have this question: Is it? I've heard a lot about people that have played at a high level while they've received their qualifications. Is it true that once you get some credentials and once you start studying coaching, you become a better player at the same time? Did it help you become a better player? Yeah, because you see the 100%. Game differently.
You are yes, you're never like as a player. It's you just show up on the session and you were just doing whatever they told you to do, whatever they tell you to do. And as a coach, you have to think about everything. You have so many players. You have rather other things around the whole that soccer environment that you have to think of, and it's a huge difference. So whatever you were doing as a soccer player, it's completely different as a coach. So it helps. It helps a little bit, but it's not some kind of huge advantage.
Yeah, it's completely true, because I hear, like, even at the highest levels, at the Premier League levels, all those big coaches, big managers, they always say that they encourage their players to start taking their FA credentials and all that, so that they start seeing the game from a different angle, from a different perspective. So it's good. And I always like to see players that are 15, 16, 17, 18 while they're still playing to start taking those community courses here in Canada, because I think it would also help them to become better players, no matter what their goals and ambitions are. So it's a good
I'll give
point
you
one.
I will give you one example. I was playing. Maybe the reason why I didn't make it to the higher level is because the first time I came to Canada, I heard the phrase "check your shoulder." So I was playing soccer, and I came to the national level almost like that's pretty professional, right? And I never checked my shoulder in my life. So that's something that I didn't. That nobody has ever told me that I had to do it. So I think the great thing for me is that during my career, I had very good coaches, and I had very bad coaches. So now I've learned everything about the good ones and the bad ones, and what the players should learn and what shouldn't.
Yeah, that makes sense. You learn from both, for sure. Yeah. So what are your goals and ambitions now as a coach? Where do you want to go? I mean, obviously, if Barcelona, as much as you like High Park, if Barcelona knocks on your door, you're not going to say no.
Yeah. Now it's tough with Barcelona. They don't have enough money these days because of this virus. But jokes aside, I read a lot about setting the goal for yourself. And I will be honest, I'm not that type of the coach, of the person. I like goals. I obviously have the goals, and I'm very ambitious. But also, I don't like to plan a lot. I have a smaller goals that I want to achieve, and I'm always happy and thankful what I have at that moment. So if the opportunity arrives, I will take it, and I will be ready to take it 100%. But I don't like to plan and to create the big plans. I would rather focus on the present and trying to be better every single day. Right now, I'm very comfortable, and I feel very good in this club. I feel that myself and the club together, we are growing, and that's something that I want. It's exciting to be a part of this journey, and for now, I'm happy.
I agree, and that's also another reason why I joined the club. And I'm very fortunate to be working alongside you guys, especially you, learning a lot myself. So really thankful for the opportunity and working with yourself. So that's good.
Yeah.
Am I getting bonus points from you?
Yes, 100%. Very nice words.
Good. So I think for the listeners, and maybe we'll have some more players or parents listening to these. Maybe they want to know a little bit about Coach Edin's, favorite team, favorite player, favorite idol. Who's your favorite soccer player of all time? Do you have one? I'm
That's
assuming you
sensitive.
do.
If I say something that my players don't like, then it's a problem, right?
It's
So
okay. It's okay.
I'm let's say weird even in that question, regarding that question, because right now as a player I used to like to watch the Ronaldo, for example. He was my idol, the Brazilian Ronaldo.
Same.
And right now obviously I like to watch Messi because I think he's a genius, and I never saw something like that in the soccer before. So that would be in terms of the players. But soccer in general and the favorite club, as I started coaching, I don't have the favorite club. I'm trying to see different teams, trying to see different coaches, and trying to learn from them. You're looking at the game from a different perspective right now.
Yeah.
So it's hard to take the team. If I would have to pick one team, that would be Barcelona under Pep. That's something that I think that for me that was the most beautiful, and the style of play and everything in general. It happened to have so many good players on the one place, and and very good coach. So it's that was if I had to pick the team, that was the one team right at that time, but not this one, not this Barcelona.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think Pep Guardiola was very fortunate to have Messi. I think probably the best Messi during that time. So I think that helped him a lot.
He was fortunate, but he deserved it somehow, right? To be there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So would you, if you can give one or two advice to a new or to a young player that's currently playing and trying to become a better soccer player, trying to learn and grow, is there any advice that you can give them, maybe as a player or as a coach? What's something that could help them become better, grow, be successful in Canada or just in general in life, maybe?
Yeah, it depends. It depends of the level of the players you're working with, right? Sometimes players doesn't want to do anything; they just want to have fun. But if you have the players who are very ambitious and want to play on the high level, what I like to say to my players is, there's so many kids out there who wants to play on the high level, right? So what's going to make the difference in your case? And I would say, and I will always suggest, to work harder than everybody else. And it's pretty simple. If the kids in Europe or in, let's say, South America or in these countries who has a little bit of different culture, and they're playing on the streets all the time, if they're playing 6-7 hours on the street, then you have to do it twice as that. You have to do it much more if you wanna come to that level, and then there's no excuses, right? And also, you shouldn't be focusing on playing on high level. You should be focusing to be better every single day, without the big pressure, and trying to enjoy the game. You need to enjoy the game all the time, but also to work hard as possible every single day.
Yeah.
That would be kind of advice.
100%. I agree. I personally think one thing that we can improve as a country in Canada is just build a better culture. To be honest, this is one of the reasons why I started doing my podcast. I want to make a difference, create a culture. Whoever that's listening, maybe motivate them or something. I think. Would you agree that I think some of the young players need to start even watching more soccer to just watch and learn, to just get motivated, or like learn things from watching some of the players on TV? Do you think that's something that they could do more often? Because sometimes I find players come and train 4 or 5 days a week, but when they go home, that's it. There's no more soccer. They forget about it. They don't watch anybody. They don't watch a team. I think that's something that's really, really missing.
Yeah, but we have to be aware that these kids are growing in a different world, right? That we were growing up. So these computers and technology are a little bit of problem for them. And but yeah, there was one funny thing when I just came to Canada and started coaching. For the first year, I was an assistant in the OPDL program, and I was very lucky to have a great coach beside me who was a head coach. His name was Nico Girard, and he's a good friend of mine as well. So I wasn't realizing where I came at, because in Bosnia, my kids are playing the soccer a lot and they're watching the soccer a lot. So I came and the level was not the great here. And then I started asking, Nico, what's happening? Like, do you really need to coach everything? Do you really need to say this many informations to the players, right? And then I realized that it has to be like that. And definitely watching the games will help that. That's what you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Helping the game and trying to understand, that's a big time. That's what I say to my players all the time. Try to find one player and copy. Look at the videos and try to copy these things. It will help 100% for the game understanding, for everything. And
That's so the home programs we have for our OPDL players, it's the scoring chart that we created for them, and so that they could analyze their own game. So what I started doing is I started picking random games from the previous Champions Leagues or previous World Cups, and I started picking specific players for the players to watch and give scores to those players. So that would hopefully help them to analyze a specific player for a whole game and see what are some of the good things they're doing, but they're not always perfect. They also make mistakes, to also assess those players and hopefully learn from that. So that's a great point that you bring up.
Yeah, that's it. And I think the very important part of growing up in soccer and trying to develop the player is the parent side as well, right? So what I'm trying to do with my teams is also to try to explain to the parents the process, because I think they are equally important than every single coach, like every single coach. So it should be a 50-50, and the parents, I think we need to give as many information as possible to the parents about the process itself, and then to work together to develop the players, right? And to create the culture.
For sure. And I think they actually appreciate that too as well.
Yep.
Yeah. It's good, man. That's good. Is there anything else?
Easy questions. Easy questions.
Yeah. You seem like you're prepared.
No tough questions.
Is there anything else before we wrap up? Is there anything else that you want to mention? Anything? How's your isolation life? You're staying well? Your family's good? Everything is great?
For me, I don't know. It's not a soccer topic, but for me, this is a piece of cake. Because I was as a kid, as you may know, there was a big war happening in Bosnia at that time, at 90s, and we were locked down for 4 years. So it's not a big deal. This is like a piece of cake. Yeah. But yeah, it's not easy, and I understand all the people, and I just hope we will be back on the field as soon as possible.
I hope so too, man. We some of us went from soccer every day, 7 days a week, to no soccer. There's no soccer on TV. There's no soccer to coach. There's no soccer to play. So it's a little bit weird, but hopefully, this ends soon and we can all get back and do our thing.
Yeah, I'm very positive that we will be back very soon.
Hopefully. All right. Well, thank you. I think that's about it. Anything else you want to mention?
No. Thanks again for inviting me, and it was my pleasure to talk with you. It was very quick.
Yeah.
And time flies when it's a good discussion.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully people can pick up a few things from the conversation, and then good things happen from there. Yeah,
from our club.
For sure.
If they can use this video to find out anything, it's good if it's useful. If not, they know that they can always, or they should be aware that they can always reach out to their coach and ask whatever they want to know. I think that's a good way, and I think we're trying to share as many informations as possible with them. So I'm going to mention that at the end, if I can. Just reach out to your coach and always ask if you have anything. I think that way we will create a better environment for all of us, and for the kids especially.
100%. I agree. All right. Thank you very much. It was a real pleasure. I hope to see you soon in person, and I'll see you in a little bit in another meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Shaheen. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Have a good one. Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.